Good morning, back in the TFR shop. The goal for today is to finish the longboard press. I know I've been saying that, but I think I'm really going to do it today. In order to finish it, I have materials to steam this wood so that I can use it as the cross members and get this press completed. Since these are going to be the cross members that are supporting the core inside of the press, they need to be cut into foot-long lengths so that they evenly fit across the press. So what I'm going to do now is go back up to the shop, mark these out at a foot length each, and go ahead and cut them. And then I'm going to steam them and throw them in the press so that they form to the shape that I want. Pretty much this is my entire battery life right now. Always charging, and the battery in this camera is dying. But good news is, brought my marking pencil today so I don't have to use a pen. I have the press down here. Boom. And we're gonna get to work. To give you a better idea of what I'm doing right now, I set up the press with the cross members, the cross supports inside of the press. What I did yesterday was I marked out where each one of these will go. You can see the lines here and here. And so I just line those up, each one. And then I'm going to steam all these cross supports here. And after they're steamed and malleable, I'm going to nail them in and then press them. But I need cross supports for both this half of the press and this half of the press, which is why I have those 4 long ones that I marked out a foot on each, because I need to cut these so that I have enough cross supports for the top half as well. So I'm going to go cut these now. Now that everything is cut, we're ready to start steaming. This is the setup, so I'm just using that bucket to fill the trough with water. And this is the steam bath. It's just a rain gutter. It's the best I have right now. Don't have a lot of money. And I'm using my camp stove as a heat source. So I'm gonna take these cross supports, these ones and the ones here, lay them in the bath, soak them up, heat them up, and then nail them down to the press and press them into shape. Set up, we are about to be lit. This is the camp stove, propane, the bath. Put the wood in there. Safety first. Looks like we have our first wisps of steam. We're about to be steaming. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and dunk them in real quick. Make sure they get a good submerge, nice and wet and steamy. The cross supports that I have in the bath right now, they have been in there for about 14 or 15 minutes, and they're still not ready to go. So I kind of rigged up an insulator to keep some steam and heat in because there was a lot coming out. Run into a small problem, nothing new with this project. The problem is that when I try to press the cross supports inside of the press is actually bowing out. You can see right there that that piece is supposed to be vertical, straight up and down, and it's peeling away because of the amount of pressure. So that either means that I didn't steam the wood long enough, which is possible, or the press is not strong enough, which is more likely. So I need to figure some things out before I get this thing rolling. Disappointed. I'm disappointed. This is what I'm thinking right now. So the top half of the press is weak. That's what the main problem is. So I need to beef that thing up. So there are two different ways that I was thinking. One, I could get, and I'd have to measure it, but I'd have to get a piece of plywood that is about this thick, and I think that's 3/4 of an inch, I believe. 3/4 of an inch, and I would cut a rectangle that is the size of the top. So I'd basically make a lid, and I would screw the edges of that lid into this top piece, both sides, all the way down, and then probably get some of those brackets that are like an L-shaped bracket, and it's metal, and it has two holes for a screw to go in here and a screw to go on top, so that it like really locks that thing in. I think that would work. Problem is, even these top supports right here, these four, those are pretty weak. You can see the one splitting right here. So that one's already splitting, and that's the only one that has pressure on it, and it doesn't even have enough pressure to press these cross supports into shape. You can see down there how there's still space in between this and the support right there. And I don't want any space. I need those things to be touching and like pressing against everything. I need everything to be tight, and it's not tight. So I need to beef up the top. I probably need to steam the cross supports for longer using that insulation right there and that piece of metal on the floor there to keep the steam in, so it actually does what it needs to be doing, so that softens those supports up more than they were. The problem is I only have 4 in there right now, and I need 32. I need 32 in there. So I'm only a fraction of the amount of supports and the amount of pressure that I'm going to be putting on this press, and it's already failing, which is not good. So I need to go backwards so that I can strengthen this thing up, so that when I go forwards with the project, things turn out correctly.
What's up?
Yo, what's up?
Are you videotaping your own project?
Yeah, dude.
That's pretty good.
That's Mike. You'll see him more, hopefully.
And action.
Thank you, Mike. We are done with this project for today. Have to design some stuff to beef up that upper piece. Like I already said, Mike threw some ideas at me. I have some ideas of my own. We'll see if whatever works will work, and that's what we'll do. And I will be back next week, since today is Wednesday, to continue working on this project. And Mike has some ideas of his own for how he might be involved in this project, so we might have more interesting stuff to come. Stay tuned.